Shalom unto the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. First and foremost, before I get into my lesson, I want to start off by giving all praises unto Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of great millstone that teach in their Ruel today. And salutation also to the fellow laborers that's in the ministry and the believers that scatter worldwide in all truth and sincerity day in and day out. Once again, I'm the brother Shaquat Gabar, coming at you with another quick lesson. And right before I get into this lesson, this message or these videos goes out to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which we are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites according to the Bible. And also to the Israelite foreigners that scattered amongst the heathen nations, and they may take on the physical appearance or look of another nation. But if your bloodline goes back to Negro, Latino, or Native American descent by the seed of your father, you are considered an Israelite as well. Shalom. So basically, I'm just going to get into a quick video, or lesson, I say. As you can see, I have this video queued up on the screen, okay, which is all one of the beloved brothers amongst the ministry, okay, and the believer, okay, with his channel, you can see is Arrows of Indignation 144. And he gave the title, okay, to this video, Listen Up, Executive Order 14288, Pay Attention, total tyranny is upon us brethren. Okay, so this is going into the the executive order that Trump recently passed a couple of days ago, okay, about aiding certain police forces, okay, or the police force with military force, okay, having military troops, okay, help to support policemen, okay. As we know, we eventually come to the point of civil unrest in America, okay, which when all hell break loose and anarchy take place, okay, in the streets, okay, then they're gonna declare the state of martial law. Okay, martial law going into when the military take over the government, okay, and they're going to be troops, patrolling in the streets, okay. They're going to have the go ahead, okay, to use deadly force, okay, if necessary, okay, like I said, because it's going to come to the point when all hell going to break loose, okay, here in America, okay, especially when it comes to a financial crash, okay, here in the States. Because we know there's places on the verge of a financial crash. And when it comes to these elites of Esau, Edom, okay, the so-called white race, okay, mainly, like I said, the elites, the central bankers, okay, they're ready to forge the NWO, okay, and part of the NWO is to cause order out of chaos, or have order out of chaos, man, okay. And, they're going to use their advanced weapons, okay, like I say, such as, they troops, military troops, okay, they got the drones and robot dogs, okay, super soldiers, okay, your average tanks, okay, fighter jets, okay. It's gonna be a state of declared martial law, okay, and and mainly who's gonna be affected the most is the nation of Israel. Okay, when it comes to you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay, mainly the ones of our people, okay, that's not acknowledging this truth, that's not acknowledging the prophecies or the prophets, okay, that's not acknowledging Yahweh Shai, okay, not acknowledging in the heritage, okay, as Israelites, okay, majority of our people, when it comes to the the 2/3 eventually gonna be judged. Okay, and a lot of our people, they scoff, they scorn, they make mockery of the words of Yahweh Shai. Okay, they into following all different types of religions. Okay, that the Lord is not pleased of, man. Okay, that's why the Lord set up His men, to teach repentance. Okay, as the men of the Lord out there on the highways and byways, and His word being published on the internet. Okay, because eventually the Lord only going to deliver the elect, which we're considered the 144,000 and the 1/3 that's destined to be saved. Okay, here in the times as we're approaching, according to Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7, the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this video. Then you're gonna have a certain couple of individuals going into the executive order that Trump recently just passed. Dealing with martial law. Okay, and a couple of weeks ago, he passed an executive order of the Insurrection Act. Okay, due to protestings and all that, rallies. Okay, just in case it get chaotic. Okay, now they have the powers that be. Okay, have the reason. Okay, to declare and introduce or institute martial law, man. Okay, so let me go ahead and play it.
Okay, this is incredibly important, so everybody stop what you're doing, share, repost, do whatever you can to make sure people know about this. Because something flew under the radar for a lot of people yesterday. Something that cannot be explained and does not make sense, except under certain circumstances. Yesterday, Trump signed an executive order called Strengthening and Unleashing America's Law Enforcement to Pursue Criminals and Protect Innocent Citizens. Like most things the Republicans do, it is a misnomer and pretends that it does something it doesn't. But there's a certain section you should look at. You can pause to read this, but it says that within 90 days of the order, the Attorney General, the Secretary of Defense, and the Secretary of Homeland Security increase military and national security assets in local jurisdictions to assist state and local law enforcement. This literally says that within 3 months of this order being signed yesterday, the heads of these agencies are supposed to use the military for local policing. This is something that is currently already illegal under the Posse Comitatus Act. The federal government and the military cannot be used to enforce domestic policies. And as many people have pointed out already, there's only 2 ways that he can actually use this executive order to have the military do local policing. That is by somehow having Congress overturn the Posse Comitatus Act, which is never going to happen, or by him invoking the Insurrection Act and putting us under martial law. There is literally no other way that executive order would work. This is something that everybody should be alarmed about.
Let's talk about Trump's newest executive order. I posted about it previously saying it was Trump calling for martial law. I had people flooding my comments saying it's not martial law. Do you even know what martial law is? Do you know what due process is? Do you know what federal courts are? Do you know what the Constitution is? Because Trump has repeatedly attacked every single one of those things. He does not care. This administration does not care about the rule of law. It uses censorship and propaganda in so many forms to demonize and generalize groups of people to make them easier targets amongst their supporters. They have eliminated due process to imprison and deport innocent people to concentration camps, regardless of legal status. They have imprisoned and deported legal U.S. residents, work permit holders, people who have been granted asylum, people going through the legal immigration process. They have deported children who are U.S. citizens. The regime has imprisoned students for peacefully protesting the genocide they are funding and facilitating. They are labeling anyone they want a criminal or terrorist without proof, kidnapping them with no warrants, revoking visas without cause, and imprisoning them without due process, and they've begun arresting judges. I said this new executive order is a call for martial law because that's exactly what it is. The Trump regime does not adhere to the formal practices. It does not adhere to the rule of law or our system of checks and balances. This is the next step. This is the next mile they are taking after being given all kinds of inches. And they are doing it under the guise of fighting the illegal alien invasion, which is a big fucking lie. If you read the executive order, you can see that they are talking about investing in the capacity of prison. They are talking about militarizing the police, deploying military and national security assets into local jurisdictions, holding state and local officials accountable, off the tail end of arresting a judge, so we know what that means. And they are talking about prosecuting those who take part in diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. If an administration is talking about prosecuting people for diversity, equity, and inclusion, you should probably infer that that administration is fucking bad. We need to understand the scope and the gravity of what all of this means and treat it as such. We can't mince words. From the guy who wants a military parade in Washington, D.C. for his birthday, when Donald Trump repeatedly says he's going to do some fascist shit, that's the only time to believe him, because that's when he's consistent. They've already invoked the Alien Enemies Act to give ICE immunity and the power to break into people's homes and kidnap them without having a warrant. They're this close to invoking the Insurrection Act. What's happening in this country is all encompassing. And if you've actually been paying attention, you'd be ringing the alarm bells too. This is not normal. This is fascism. This is not me fear-mongering, as some people call it. It's literally the exact opposite. Do not be afraid of these stupid fascists under this idiotic dictator wannabe. This is a call to preparation and organization, and a reminder to our service members to please uphold your oath to the Constitution.
President Trump has just officially declared martial law as of today, April 29th, 2025. Yesterday, he signed the executive order called Strengthening and Unleashing America's Law Enforcement to Pursue Criminals and to Protect Innocent Civilians. This is terrifying, and nobody is talking about it except Rolling Stone magazine for some reason. Please go to whitehouse.gov, read the full text yourself, and spread this word. In summary, he declares that the military, the police, and ICE shall be unleashed into the streets of America to root out anything they declare as crime. They will be shielded from any prosecution for wrongdoing of any kind. If a civil official stands in their way, they will be prosecuted as a criminal. What this means is that no warrants will be needed by anyone. If you get murdered by ICE, that's legal. If a judge or an attorney tries to prosecute them, they will be arrested themselves. This is a state called martial law. It means that the military, the police, and ICE decide the law now. We no longer have rights. As Trump and Pam Bondi have both said, speaking out is a crime. Disagreeing with the president is a crime.
Okay. So you hear, see a couple of compilation videos that the brother put together. Okay, these individuals going into, this executive order, law. Okay, that just got put in the law by Trump. Okay, when it comes to military forces. Okay, amongst the policemen. Okay, they make mention of ICE. Okay, and like I said, who's gonna be affected the most? Okay, not just the average American citizen, but mainly you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, and especially, we already seen what's going on with the deportation amongst the Northern Kingdom. Okay, when it comes to Hispanics, Latinos, those tribes. Okay, and certain other Southern Kingdom tribes. Okay, that's being deported due to that they illegal immigrants or migrants. Okay, which all that was set up. Especially during the time of Biden administration. Okay, how he allowed all those so-called legal and illegal migrants to come over here. And we already know a lot of them that came over here. They come over here to the search. The seek for a better life. Okay, better living conditions, better, more opportunity. Okay, here in America. Okay, but a good bit of them, okay, was they are soldiers. Okay, as we say, sleeper cells, man. Okay, that was amongst those migrants that's now over here in the States. Okay, a lot of them are soldiers, a lot of agent provocateurs. Okay, just in case they certain terrorist attack happen. Okay, certain crisis. Okay, that they can use. Okay, to provoke or vote. I say martial law. Okay, so now they saying that they can label anybody as a criminal. Okay, in the eyes of martial law, man. Okay, we already know how these elites feel about us. Okay, down to this government system when it comes to you so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, man. Okay, hey, they talking about he talking about sending certain migrants Okay, the El Salvador prisons. Okay, what is another one on Guantanamo Bay? Okay, because you had Trump saying that you gotta take care of the homegrown first. Okay, so that's the American citizens. Okay, like I say, especially when it comes to you so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans. Okay, and eventually, this is the Lord time of bringing the sword. Okay, against the tribes, man. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the scriptures. Yeah, like I said, the Lord is gonna put the spirit on Esau, Edom, to bring that sword, because that's their blessing, the sword, in the form of their military might. Okay, and now they try to back up the sword. Okay, by these executive orders. Okay, but let me get this. This is Ezekiel. Excuse me. This is Ezekiel chapter 21, verse 9. Son of man, prophesy and say, thus say the Lord. Okay, and that's what the Lord set up this prophets. Okay, the prophesy, man. Okay, when it comes to the warning. Okay, son of man, prophesy and say, thus say the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai. Say a sword is sharpened and also furbished. Yeah, so this going into Esau Edom military. Okay, his troops, his drills, okay, his laws, okay, all surrounding. Okay, they sword, man, and they sharpened to the point that Trump, signed these executive orders. Okay, they had to deal with insurrections. Okay, funding the policemen. Okay, military rise. Okay, martial law. Okay, that's done sharpening the sword, man. Okay, cause he been talking about something, due to, for the past couple of years, you had, certain states, okay, when it comes to the policemen, they was being defunded, okay. So now he talking about increasing the pay of certain policemen or police states, okay, recruiting, okay. There's certain policemen in the past that, got off or was found guilty of a certain, incident, okay, then they got, locked up, okay. But now he's saying that, he want to release them and give them no pay, okay, reimburse them, man, okay. Hey, so it's about to get tough, okay, or bad out here, man, okay, real bad here in the States, man, okay. But Yahweh Shema Shai is going to be with his elect of the nation of Israel, okay, and that's the number that we striving to be part of, man, okay. Also the hopeful elect, okay. And it says a sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? Yeah, so hey, Lord sharpening that sword, man. But a lot of our people, they in the spirit of mirth. Okay, you even got certain Israelite camps or organizations that's in the spirit of mirth, partying, prosperity. Okay, doing Hebrew Israelite music, fashion shows. Okay, holding certain events and like I say, party. Okay, doing interviews, set jetting. Okay, to name a few like IUIC and ISUPK, Sakari. Okay, those are the top Israelite camps when it comes to mirth, man. Okay, or because they teach Israel, okay, to a certain extent. Okay, but a lot of those camps, they're not giving that warning. They're not, a lot of these camps don't teach about Jacob's trouble. Okay, when it comes to martial law, that's okay, to them that's conspiracy. Okay, which we know a lot of these camps don't sold out. Okay, but the true men of Yahweh Shema Shai is going to be giving that warning. Okay, when it comes to you so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans. Okay, so like I say, even these Israelite camps, they're in the spirit of mirth. But down to the average so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, that's not of the truth. Okay, they're in the spirit of mirth, man. Okay, we in the time of the spring, the coming of the summer. Okay, and this executive order, I believe that's Trump signed. Okay, supposed to really take effect like 90 days from now. Okay, so that's what about July. Okay, And they already talking about, you see how the economy is about to ready to crash, okay, or take a major financial blow due to these tariffs, okay, saying that now, this month here in May, okay, just the beginning of May, and throughout, the couple of coming months, they're saying prices going to go up due to the tariffs, man. Shelves being empty, okay, the lack of products, okay, or shortages, okay, manufacturing closing, okay, certain job losses, okay, truckers on strike or quitting, okay, and that's how the merchandise or the products get to the store, okay, to the stores or the restaurants, man, okay, by the trucker business, okay, the trucking business, man, okay, so this is at least this place is about to witness a crash. They already beefing up their military and their police force, okay, and they make mention of the ICE, okay, and it says it is sharper to make a sore slaughter, it is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It could tempt the rod of my son, and as every tree, and he have given it to be furbished that it may be handled. The sword is sharpened, and it is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer. And that's Esau, Edom. The blessing of Esau, Edom, is their sword. Okay, like I say, in the day's time, and now, the military, okay, the police force, ICE, okay, and it says it has been given into the hand of the slave, okay. Hand in the scriptures also represent power, okay. So the Lord, Yahweh Shemal Shaz, is the one that gave the sword, okay, or the blessing of the sword, okay, to Esau, Edom, okay. The power that he have now, okay. And it says, verse 12, cry and howl, son of man, for it shall be upon my people, it shall be upon all the princes of Israel. Terrors by the reason of the sword shall be upon my people. Smite therefore upon thy thighs. So that's what we're saying. Okay, when it comes to martial law or the sword, okay, of Esau Edom, which is the will of Yahweh Shemal Shai. Okay, when it comes to, the Lord putting the spirit on Esau Edom to come in as that flood, as it says in Isaiah chapter 59, verse 19. Okay, Esau ready to come in as that flood with his troops, okay, with his military and his draconian measures, man. Okay, but it's going to come against majority of our people, okay, you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, okay, when it comes to Israel, man. Okay, and like I said, the 2/3, because the Lord said He's going to deliver the elect. Okay, that's the number that we striving to be part of, man. Okay, that hopeful number. Okay, to be covered. Let me get this. So everything, so the Lord will, okay, that the Lord allow Esau Edom to come down, okay, with that, strict legislations and the force that's going to come behind it, okay, by the way of the sword. Let's get this. I'll get this real quick. Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and they are right grievous, which they have prescribed. Okay, these Esau Edom draconian laws, man. Okay, all the executive orders that Trump put in place. Okay, that's going to affect, okay, the American people. Okay, but like I said, mainly you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, because when it comes to these heathens, Yahweh Shemal Shai don't care about the heathens, man. Okay, the Lord said they are nothing. Okay, and eventually they are enemies. Okay, they are our enemies. Okay, starting with Esau, Edom. Okay, and the heathen nations on down, man. Okay, are the enemies of us. Okay, of Israel, man. Okay, right now 2/3 of our people are enemies of Yahweh Shemal Shai. Okay, but when it comes to these heathens, the Lord don't care about them, man. Okay, because eventually, Esau, Edom, and these heathens, okay, they're going to go into captivity. After this place, ultimately, this place, America, going to be destroyed by the way of thermonuclear fire at the peak of the Third World War, man. Okay, and when Yahweh Shai also returned at during the time of his second coming, and Yahweh Shai is only going to redeem the elect by the way of the chariots, what the world call UFOs, man. Okay, and the salvation of the elect. Okay, and eventually, okay, Yahweh Shai is going to establish the kingdom of Israel, and the heathen nations that remain, starting with the elites that escape the missiles, okay, they're going to be reserved for captivity, and they're going into captivity, man. Okay, but right now we're at the threshold, okay, the coming of their downfall, okay, especially starting with Esau, Edom, okay, and the now, like I said, all these now we've been going into all these unrighteous decrees, man, okay. And it says, woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievous which they have prescribed, okay, the executive orders, okay, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people. Is like I say, my people. So the Lord only cared for Israel at this time, okay, mainly the elect. Okay, the scripture says he had cared for his elect, okay, because the 2/3 of our people, they're going to be judged. They're going to have to come back in the kingdom, being the sons and daughters of the elect, okay, and us that's in the faith, involved in the ministry, we see why Yahweh Shemashah going to bring judgment upon Israel, okay, heavy judgment, man, because the majority of our people, they wicked as all hell, man, okay, and the Lord will have to, judge them, okay, and bring them back in the kingdom, and therefore, they're going to be righteous then, okay, which all Israel going to be righteous, in the kingdom, okay, because as we in this faith, okay, we in the sinful flesh, okay, but we're looking for the Lord to have mercy upon us, man, okay, that we part of the elect, and eventually when the kingdom is established, all Israel going to be saved eventually, okay, when the kingdom, like I said, 2/3 will have to come back in the kingdom, okay, but also that's going to also starting with the elect, when the Lord delivered the elect by the way of the chariots, that's when the new covenant is going to take place, of the law, statute, commandments, and our inward parts, okay, when it's starting with the elect, okay, when the redeemed, okay, take place, when the Lord delivered the elect into those chariots, okay, the body is going to be changed, okay, the elect bodies, okay, going to go from being mortal, okay, from sinful flesh, okay, to immortal and to righteousness, okay, like I said, that's when the new covenant is going to be in effect, and the 2/3 of our people, they're going to have to be born into the kingdom, into the new covenant, okay, and it says, turn aside, Isaiah 10:2, turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and they may rob the fatherless. Okay, especially at the time we're in now. Yeah, a lot of our women, okay, in the time of Jacob trouble, when all hell break loose, a lot of our women gonna be judged, man, or catching hell, man. Okay, yeah, but the Lord only gonna deliver the elect, okay, amongst the women, okay, men, women, and children of the elect are gonna be delivered as a whole, okay. But when it comes to 2/3 of our people, mainly the wicked ones of our women, okay, gonna face the harsh reality of judgment, man. Okay, that's why the scripture says, "Raise up you women that are at ease, man." Okay, so a lot of our women gonna be affected. Okay, let's see. And it says, "Take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and they that may rob the fatherless." Okay, like I say, a lot of women gonna be judged, men. Okay, that's gonna lead to women being widows. Okay, children. Okay, that's how it gonna be, man. Okay, that's the anger of Yahweh Shemiah was shy, man. Okay. Let me see. I'm gonna drop. I'm gonna go down to 5. Isaiah chapter 10, verse 5, and it says, "O Assyrian, the rod of my anger." Yeah, because the Assyrians, okay, during the time of after Solomon, okay, reign, okay, the kingdom was split between Rehoboam and Jeroboam. Okay, we know about the history of the northern kingdom, okay, that got split from the southern kingdom, and the northern kingdom went into captivity up under the Assyrians, okay, and the Assyrians been known to be a harsh captivity, okay, for the northern kingdom, okay, but the modern day Assyria is America, okay, starting with Esau, Edom, okay, because back then the Lord brought the Assyrians against us, okay, when it comes to the nation of Israel, okay, starting with the northern kingdom, and Lord is setting up Esau, Edom to come against the wicked of our people, okay, to come against Israel, man. And it says, O Assyrian, the rod of my anger, and the staff in thy hands, in thy hand, is my indignation. Okay, so the Lord set up the Assyrians back then, okay, to be a indignation, okay, righteous anger that came against, okay, our people back then, okay, mainly the northern kingdom, as I say, okay, but this time it's Esau Edom, okay, the Lord using Esau Edom, the wicked, okay, and giving the blessing of the sword to come against us, man, okay. And at this time, you know, like I say, eventually the Lord gonna deliver the elect, okay, but you're gonna have certain elect men, women, okay, they're gonna have to face the persecution, okay, have to be in, you know, as we come into the time now, us that's in the faith coming to the point of demonization and slander, okay, you're gonna have certain members of the elect being thrown in the concentration camp, okay, being martyrs, okay, dying for the, you know, in the faith, for the faith, okay, especially when they come to the time of the MOTB being presented, okay, you're gonna have certain members of the elect that's gonna be beheaded in that time, okay, because we know about when it comes to these detention centers, okay, you know, they, you know, Trump, you know, talking about bringing back the guillotine, okay, the firing squad, okay, certain, you know, torture methods, okay, but mainly the, you know, that guillotine, okay, because John in Revelation chapter 20 verse 4, he saw that those are the elect that didn't take that MOTB, the RFID micro, okay, was beheaded, okay, and you know, but those that die in the faith will be the first ones risen up when Yahweh shall return to gather the rest of the elect, okay. So you're going to have certain members of the elect that's going to be martyrs, man, okay, but for the 2/3 of our people, man, Lord just going to bring judgment upon them, okay. And it says verse 6, and I will send him against a hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take the spoil and take the prey, and to tread them down like the mire of the street. So that's the martial law troops, man. Okay, these different troops, the police force, ICE. Okay, what do they call it? Yeah, ICE. Yeah, ICE. Okay, and that's going to be come against the hypocritical nation, going into 2/3 of so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans. Okay, they're not taking heed, man. So that's it on that. But our hope is to be delivered. Us are the hopeful elect. Let's get this. Psalms chapter 17, verse 13. Arise, O Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. And Esau Edom is the wicked. Okay, Malachi chapter 1, verse 4. Go into that. Okay. But eventually, the Lord is going to disappoint Esau Edom when Yahweh shall return and take him out of power, okay, and destroy this place, America, okay. But the point is, the Lord set up Esau Edom, okay, to be the sword, man, okay, and we starting to see that now, yeah, you know, more and more as they putting it into, you know, rolling it to, you know, rolling it to, you know, to the point, coming into the point as they're ready to bring in martial law, man, okay, and their troops, okay, once again, which is their sword. Okay, that's it on that. It's good to say they're gonna be like madman, sparing none. Let's get that. Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 70. Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 70. For there shall be in every place, for there shall be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon the Insurrection Act. Okay, Trump just now signed. Okay, about a couple of weeks ago. Okay, now he signed this new executive order. Okay, funding the police with military aid. Okay, for there should be in every place and in the next cities, in the next cities, a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Okay, and that's going to you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, so Esau Edom gonna be as a madman. Okay, when it comes to those troops, man. Okay, and there shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Yeah, martial law. Okay, taking people out of their homes and throwing them in, buses or trucks, trailers, and hauling them off to the nearest concentration camp, man. Okay, and it's gonna be mainly for you when it comes to the effect of you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans that are gonna be affected the most. And it says they should be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. And that's the elect eventually. Okay? So the elect is going to go through those trials and tribulations. Okay, but Lord said He's going to deliver them. Okay? The elect. Okay? Hopeful number that we striving to be part of, man. Okay? And during that time, the Lord going to raise up certain men with spiritual power, man. Okay? Doing miracles, okay, having a way of deliverance, okay, having the angels being a guide, okay, a covering, okay. It's the Lord gonna be with His elect men, okay, and I pray that I find worthy that I'm part of that number, man, okay, yeah, because the Lord is gonna eventually gonna lift up that standard, as I say in Isaiah chapter 59, verse 19. Okay, Lord gonna give certain men that spiritual power, man, okay, and it says, "Hear, O ye my beloved, say the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, a Jacob's trouble, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid," and the only one that's going to be delivered, once again, is the elect. "Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, say the Lord, power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai." Okay, ultimately the elect. Okay, those that endure to the end. Okay, let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. Yeah, so our hope is that we are the election. Okay, that the Lord deliver us, man, in the time of the trying times and of now and approaching Jacob's trouble, and in the midst of Jacob's trouble to be delivered. Okay, hold on, give me a minute. Yeah, counsel. That's what our hope is. Okay, that the Lord deliver us from the coming destruction and from out of the hands of Esau, Edom. Okay, which is the will of Yahweh Shemiah Shaka. The Lord set up Esau, Edom as that sword, as we've just read in Psalms the 17th chapter. Okay, verse 13. So that's it on that. Let me see. Yeah, so now, Trump, coming with all these executive orders and all. Yeah, because they know they have but a short time left, man. Okay, Revelation chapter 12. Okay, they know their kingdom is about up. Okay, how they know? Because they see the prophets out there. Okay, they in denial. Okay, yeah, they feel like they're gonna come against this truth and if get rid of the prophets, get rid of the existence of the God of the Bible. Okay, which we know we come to the point of the famine of the word, censorship. Okay, and all that's the will of Yahweh Shema Shai. Because once the Lord remove His prophets and remove His word off the internet, okay, and that's when all hell eventually gonna break loose, man. Okay, and that's when our people gonna seek for Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay, Amos 8 and 11. Okay, but you don't know he have a short time left because he see the prophets out there. Okay, he seen the chariots. He know they are the so-called the so-called UFOs. He know they are the angels. Okay, the vehicles of the angels, the chariots. Okay, that's why they got their space force. Okay, because eventually when Yahweh shall return, he's gonna fight against Esau, Edom, and these nations' military. Okay, but Esau, Edom see his kingdom going down. Okay, but through their pride, they think they're gonna force the NWO. Okay, and rule forever. Okay, but the Lord gonna disappoint them. Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Hey, so these executive orders are insurrection acts, insurrection act, or insurrection acts, I say, excuse me, and martial law. Okay, certain executive orders to bring martial law, funding the policemen, ICE, what Trump doing. Okay, that's part of their great wrath. Okay, because Trump ain't doing nothing but the bidding of these elites. I say, okay, but as a whole, Esau, Edom, okay, we're starting with these elites on down. They're doing their bidding when it comes to the executive orders. Okay, and the unfortunate NWO, it just showing that they only have a short time left, man, and they coming with great wrath, man. Okay, and we need the times, man. Yeah, look at the time them, flew. Okay, we already in the 5th month. Okay, or the 5th month of this year. Okay, so that will put us in in the 2nd quarter. Okay, of the year. Okay, yeah, so you saw Edom. Okay, moving, but most definitely Yahweh Shema Shai is moving. Okay, speeding things up for the elect's sake. Okay, as Yahweh Shai say in Matthew the 24th chapter, verse 22. Okay, let me see. I'll get this and I'll probably get ready to close. This is Isaiah chapter 65, verse 11. But ye are they that forsake the Lord and forget my holy mountain. Okay, that's going to 2/3 of our people. You so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans. How they forsake the Lord, but not taking heed to the prophets, man. And not acknowledging the words of Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay, and not being in the spirit of repentance. Okay. But ye are they that forsake the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, and forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for that troop. Yeah, them troops going into the martial law troops, man. Okay, so Lord preparing that table. Okay, when it comes to the martial law. Okay, troops. Okay, and to furnish the drink offering unto that number. Yeah, the number already set to 2/3. Okay, once again, Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. Verse 12. Therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, you did not answer, and when I spake, you did not hear, but did evil before my eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. Okay, so that's the 2/3 of our people, man. Okay, Lord gonna, have Esau Edom as that sword to come against them. Okay. Like I said, this whole, now the executive order that Trump them push, funding the police, okay, with military aid, okay, military, troops, okay, and that's gonna come down mostly amongst you tribes, man, okay, when it comes to you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, okay, but us that's in the faith, okay, just as that in the faith, we hopefully that we are the Lord's elect, okay, that the Lord have us exempt, man, okay, to have us covered in the times ahead, okay, and during the time in the midst of that of those times, as I me saying, Jacob's trouble, man, okay, and eventually the Lord is going to be with His elect, man, okay, His elect men, okay, like I said, the women, children, okay, the 1/3 as a whole, okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the lesson here, and I pray that lesson will edifying. Until next time, Lord willing, shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.